Welcome to That Steam. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. They said we would never be back. Nick, you would never guess who tried to stop us from being back this week.
Who, Brett?
Well, I think I tried to stop us from being back because I nearly fell off the bar stool when I found out you were supporting Matt Rife. That makes absolutely no sense. How did this happen? You've got to tell me.
Oh, man, I don't know. It was so weird. I just, Matt Rife, years ago, probably a year ago or over a year ago, just started following me, but he wasn't big then.
Right.
It was only on I think he told me it was on 100,000 followers or something.
Yeah.
And he just sent me a message every now and then going, oh, man, I love your clips. So funny. And then, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he sent me a message. He goes, man, I'm coming to Australia. Are you cool to jump up at these Melbourne shows? And I'm like, yeah, but like my wife and I thought it might have been a bot.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We thought, oh, maybe it's a bot or maybe it's one of his, maybe he's just leading us on or whatever. And I didn't hear from him.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to follow this up. He's a busy guy. You know what I mean? And then I was like, and then we went to our friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
And I'm like 5 beers deep. And then he messaged me. He goes, yeah, oh, man, you still good to do these shows? And I'm like, yeah.
Wasn't it the same night?
Yeah. He goes, we'll be there in half an hour. So I rocked up to Hamer Hall. And, it was wild.
The Nick Capper effect. I couldn't understand it because I messaged you. I was like, how the fuck did this happen? He's like, oh, I wanted Melbourne's best looking comedian to support me.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck off, can't.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, I was like, I saw you at Hammer Hall. I was like, I saw you just before that. Normally you'd mention something if you're supporting like Doug Stanhope, which you've done before or things like that. I was like, I don't understand how this has happened.
Yeah. No. He's a fan.
He's a fan of the tractor-loving bush pig Nick Capper.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, he always, like every now and then he'll always comment on my
If you haven't
clips.
seen who Matt Rife is like a comedian from America who's massive, but he's also a very good-looking man.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very handsome comedian.
He's very controversial, and I was trying to I was more like, I didn't care about the money or the gig. I just wanted to see the world of someone that's that famous.
Yeah.
I got to look into that world.
Well, that was my first question to you. I said, dude, what did the fucking audience look like? Because I'm like,
Oh, man, picture everyone that listens to Flat Stick and their wives.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, just like, oh, no, probably Flat Stick people are comedy astute people. But, man, it was like the people you'd probably see at the Royal Easter Show.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a sea of like women who are like.
It was a sea of women.
A sea of women who are like just wanted to root the shit out of him.
Oh man, there was. Yeah, there was like so much cleavage. Like it was fucking crazy. And even though I'm not blowing my own horn here, it's easy. Like a gig like that is easy.
Yeah, because theaters are easy.
The only thing you got to remember is to look to the third tier.
Well, when we do our comedy shows, we normally don't have to worry about the third tier.
It. Yeah, man. No, that's it.
We barely have to worry about the first tier.
Oh, man, yeah. Like 2 minutes in, I was like, oh, hang on, you got to look up, you know?
Yeah.
And they had a stool there, and I'm like, why am I not walking past the stool? Walk past the stool. Like, I was, like, kind of back, like, deep in stage. But yeah, man, even though I was crushing it, like, absolutely having a blinder, I could still see like 10 to 20 women in the audience like, we're not.
We don't like this.
We didn't come here for this.
Yeah.
And the support
get the stinker off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was pretty insane. And someone like that, you kind of trying to see, you're like, oh, what's the persona like? Oh, are they going to be a prima donna? You're kind of looking for things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly couldn't fault the guy. He was the nicest dude ever.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I like that he because he's fucking got millions of followers and all this shit.
Yeah.
But like remembered something from 5 years ago and like, oh, that bloke lives in Melbourne. I'll get him up.
Yeah, man. No.
And he would have had his own crew as well, wouldn't he? He had a couple of sports, or
Well, that's the thing. He had his supports. Like, he had this guy, Jackson McQueen, who was so funny. Like, like, they were all funny. Like, Alex was funny as well, the MC. He was really good. But, like, they said they were so broke that they all used to sleep in the same bed in the hotels.
Oh, really?
They could only afford one hotel. They said just over a year ago, Jackson and Matt couldn't sell 50 seats in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah. Now they're touring the world.
With Matt Rife. Well,
Yeah.
Matt couldn't sell 50 tickets.
Matt couldn't sell 50 tickets in Vegas.
A year ago.
Yeah, over a year ago.
And now he's like one of the... He would sell out like stadiums and shit.
Yeah. He's like, they're on a year world tour.
Guys, there's hope for us yet.
Yeah.
Because we're still living in each other's bed.
Yeah. But that's by choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's purely a sexual thing.
That's purely a sexual thing.
Yeah. I mean, top to tail. Sorry, that actually got me a good one. Sometimes you make me laugh, Nick, you know?
Yeah, no, it was a crazy man, just to see, like, security and everything like that. And you realize it's like the guy says controversial stuff, but you realize that's a new type of comedian.
Right.
Because they just...
I don't know too much about. I've seen a few clips, but he's like,
Yeah.
is he a little bit anti-woke or something, or
A little bit of that, I'd
Yeah.
say, but it's weird because it's not in his personality, which makes me think that I think the American way sometimes is like you create like a product.
yeah,
That'd be like, because you and I just do what we want.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas they're like, fuck,
I
I'm broke, or whatever, I'm going to create this product.
Right, because I did listen to something that, and I don't know the bloke, so I don't want to speak out of turn because it's not fucking fair or whatever. But I did listen to a podcast, where like a clip came up, and it was Jesselnick talking about Matt Rife, and what he said was, he was like, Matt Rife had created such this audience, you know, that, and you know, like, which was like maybe heavily female orientated or whatever. And then he's trying to step away from that a bit as well. He's trying to become like, who's that other dude? What's his name? That got booted from SNL.
Shane Gillis.
He's trying to become a little bit more like the Gillis path and trying to get more of a bit of a blokey audience by saying a few more things that are controversial and maybe a bit out of his house to try and turn the audience. But I think Jesselnick said a good thing. He's like, man, it's like, dude, you've created this awesome thing over here. Like, maybe stay in that lane as well. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. So maybe he's just, you know, when well, the dude's get pigeonholed, you're trying to want to step out of it a bit.
But like the dude, he's way more successful than me and everything like that. But yeah, I would rather stay with the female audience.
Man, I say this.
I would much rather. I don't know why he would pivot that way.
Well, yeah, we've really fucked Flatstick making it male orientated because women audiences are way better because number one, they're organised. Number two, they buy tickets. Number three, they drag four of their mates. If you go to a Velvo comedy festival show, it's sold out months in advance. They bought 17 bottles of Prosecco. They're the best audience in the world. You come to like a dude audience, they're like four guys scratching their nuts talking about BJJ.
I don't know how many times I've been at like Adelaide Fringe or Perth Fringe and stuff, and some fucking dude in a shirt that he bought from off your tree will run up to me and goes, "Oh, Nick Capper. Oh, man, I'm your biggest fan." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Are you in town at the moment?" I'm like, "Yes."
Every time.
And he's like, "I'll see you there." And then they're not there.
They never come there,
man. Yeah.
Whereas, like, if the female audience love you, they're like, they've got it in their calendar. They bought tickets when, it's 4, I get 20% off. I'll drag 3 of my mates.
I should have probably asked him that. I was like, "Why this pivot, man? Because this is the life."
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah, it was so crazy. But man, it was so funny. When I first got there, I was watching everybody walk in, and there's women that are going, right, and then they're just kind of dragging their boyfriend along, like kind of almost like being cucked by a comedian. It was so funny. You know what I mean? Just there were some guys who were into it as well. They were like, "Hell yeah, I love his comedy as well." But there are other guys are just like, "Fuck, all right."
Meanwhile, the missus is like,
yeah.
Just like, God damn it.
It was like
he's
taking
good looking
your
and
girls.
funny. This is a nightmare for me.
That would be my worst nightmare.
I reckon if I was with my partner, I'd rather her like take me to a strip club with dudes who are jacked, because I'm like, yeah, but at least I'm funnier.
Yeah.
But now he's good looking and funnier. You're kind of fucked.
Well, man, yeah, but then also I have that problem all the time because my wife helps run Carl's comedy club, Basement.
Yeah.
On the door, and all she does is come home and tell me how funny everyone else was. And better comedians, you know what I mean? She's like, oh, Guy Montgomery's so funny.
And successful.
Oh, Ray O'Leary's so funny. You know what I mean? Just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Yeah, just shut up, all right? Just shut up.
That's the only credit I have. Like, yeah, 90% of blokes out of there are better than looking than me, more useful or whatever the fuck it is. But I'm like, man, I'm funnier than 90% of the male population. I like to think, you know?
Yeah.
That's my one thing I have going for me. But if that was taken away, I'm fucked.
Well, man, speaking of jack dudes.
Oh, yeah, you notice I've been working out?
Yeah. Oh. Hey, I've got those weights at home.
Yeah.
Oh, they're your actual flatmates, Josh's.
No, they're mine.
Can you get... No. He's given me those handles.
Oh, yeah.
Can you get like 10 kilo ones for those? Can you fit 10 kilo ones?
I mean, yeah, but the question is, can you lift it?
Can I lift it?
Guys, this is a recording, and next time I'm going to put a basketball ring at the back there, and I was like, swish.
Yes,
yeah. Swish. No, you can put whatever size you want, as long as it fits the hole.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it'll just bulge out to there a bit, which won't matter. Like, if you go to it's fine. You can put like 5.55s.
Because
he does one gig with Matt Rife, and now he wants to be the most jacked comedian.
Oh no, man! This is actual. My shoulder's still fucked from when I smashed myself on the mountain bike like a year and a bit ago, and I've been seeing our physio, our guy.
Which guy from Mad?
Yeah,
the guy that's questionably a cunt to me every time I go there.
What? Really?
He winds me up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He full goes me.
Dom goes, yeah.
Dom? No, I got a different guy.
Ah.
Which one do you go to?
Yeah, I go to I'm pretty sure Dom knows you.
Right.
Anyway, he got because he's fixing my shoulder. I've finally got time to rehabilitate my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it right. And he's a funny guy. We're just talking stuff. And he's one of those guys that I've been seeing him like 4 or 5 weeks, and then he goes, yeah, no, I had a pretty good weekend. He goes, I do clearance. I do underwater welding on Saturdays. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, underwater construction, like diving, like welding. So, yeah,
what?
I was a bit tired. I was like, what? So you're a physiotherapist. You run a successful business, like big offices. And then he does underwater welding on Saturdays.
Because you got to be a commercial diver, and then you got to have your welder's ticket.
Well, that's it. The thing gets bigger then. I go, oh, how'd you get into that? And he goes, I was a clearance diver in the Navy for like 7 years. And I'm like, man, I thought I had a pretty exciting life till I met you. Like,
what the fuck?
I know, man, insane.
I love when you meet someone who's like, oh god, this is a real man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Maybe it is Dom that I go see, but maybe it's a different guy. I forgot. I haven't been there in like 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
But every time I used to go there, he'd be like, God, you're getting fat. I'm like, yeah, mate, I know. But don't tell me when my shirt's off, brother. This is a moment of weakness. He's like, man, your body fat compared to your body size, it's too much, as he's rolling me around. I'm like, yeah, dude. Yes, I get it. Guys, sorry.
Yeah, but speaking of jacked, mate, went to Renegades of Wrestling. You had to work. I took our correspondent along, Gocsie.
Now, I still don't. So they contacted you and were like, "Here's some free tickets to this event." How was it? Was it sick?
Man, it was so good. It was so good.
Because I was like, I don't think I would like it, but I remember going to back in Perth. They had this thing called EPW, Extreme Perth Wrestling.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and we had to film it ages ago, and I was like, this is going to be lame. But those dudes are fucking athletes.
Man, I felt so sorry for them because here we just do stand up, and we complain about the pay all the time and all of that. And we're just standing on stage. But these guys are like, you know when you see someone from the movies and they look jacked in the movies?
Yeah.
And then you see them in like just normal light and they're not jacked. There's no definition in their muscles.
Yeah.
These guys were like jacked in real life. Like full monsters. Like you could see the definition.
Yeah.
Like and they're just doing flips and shit.
And they've got to do And it's like when you like movie jacked, you're like, yeah, they got a year to prep.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be jacked all the time because they're wrestling every month.
Well, man, it's so funny as well because they're doing it basically for free. And my mate told me that they're basically, a lot of them are IT consultants and shit.
Have you tried turning the computer on and off again? Yeah.
They're just doing online support. Then they're just doing flips and shit. Man, the characters are so good. They had this guy, Oppa. He was like the little Greek guy, right? He carried like a wooden spoon. They had the musketeer, like this guy who comes up with a feather in his hat and shit. It was sick, man. They had the Eshe. He had like a bum bag.
I saw the guy with the bum bag.
It ruled, man. It was so good. But it depends on your attitude. I mean, I went in there with a full open mind. Like, I had a couple of drinks and I was like yelling and shit, and I really got into it. Yeah, it was good.
Man, I actually saw some of this. I was like, fuck, I'm jealous. I wish I was fucking there.
Yeah. It's so weird, though, because I'm wondering, I mean, is anyone who listens to the podcast wrestle or whatever? Because there was a couple of things, like, as an entertainer, I'm like, oh, this bit bombed. It was still good, but I'm like, I wonder if they look back on that and they go, because there were routines that were more exciting than the other ones.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if like, oh, that routine bombs. Let's change it up next time.
I watched that. I mean, I must have gone down a wrestling pigeonhole like a couple of weeks ago. And remember that guy that used to have that head?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Oh, fuck.
He used to carry around a head.
Was that The Undertaker or Mick Foley?
It was that generation.
Yeah.
And he's got a show on Netflix or some shit like that where he's coaching the next generation of wrestlers. But he's like the story narrative guy. I was like, it's like a film, like how much work he puts in. He's like, so last time what happened was this. I need you, then this happens, and then in 3 wrestles from time now we'll call back to that. So it's like a full...
Man,
it's a full narrative. Like, I know when we see it on the WWE or whatever the fuck it is, but you're like, there's so much work put into the storyline. Yeah. But it would be like comedy. It's like, fuck, that bit didn't work, or they didn't remember the callback from last time.
Yeah.
So it's still a craft. And then you got to wrestle on top of that.
Yeah, well, that's it. It was really cool trying to work it out because they'd put 4 guys on stage, and it was really, really clever what they were doing because they'd have 2 guys fighting at once, and then the other 2 could have a breather. You know what I mean? So they throw the other guy out of the ring and he just chills out. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go again. You know, so they obviously, like, the preparation would be insane. I was mesmerized by it. I was loving it, man. And then at the end, they had this, like, Royal Rumble where they just bring on more and more guys just to beat the shit out of the other guys. And I don't know what's more fun because they usually... I watched wrestling for a brief time when I was, like, 17.
Yeah, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was
Triple H. How he'd always piss you off. You'd be like, fuck Triple H, you fucking cunt. Oh, God, he's ruining it again. You know, you had Vince McMahon and all those guys.
Yeah. There was a time it was really popular, and they had the wrestling on Nintendo 64, and I used to love playing that, and I'd always be the Sting.
Oh, the Sting, yes.
Yeah, and hit cunts with chairs and bats. Like, I got a bat out of the audience and just fucking whop them.
Oh, man, last night I was sick. There was this, like, real big guy, and he threw a chair at him, and he caught the chair, and then he kicked the chair and knocked him to the ground. It was sick.
That's pretty good.
But man, yeah, Renegades of Wrestling. Go and check it out. I reckon to have a few drinks. Let's do, get charged up and see it. It's so fun, man. But yeah, a lot of neckbeards there. A lot of black shirts.
Yeah.
A lot of blokes, a lot of black shirts.
A lot of black shirts holding sloppy rigs. Sloppy rigs.
So many. Yeah, man. But it was sick.
Fuck yeah. Guys, now if you're on the video podcast, you may notice we are kind of in our new studio. This is, I still haven't cleaned or organised the shed yet. There's daylight coming in everywhere. But what do you think, Nick? We're looking pretty good for a starting point.
I reckon it looks great. It's so good. And man, you've gone out of your way as always to put everything here, but I do love it how you just got coolant on display. Just like, yeah, well, you got to keep it cool.
The thing is, I was trying to find set pieces because I only did it this morning because I haven't had time to clean. I was like, fuck, it was in the middle on the floor. I was like, where do I put it? I was like, nah, that's going up.
It's like go crossbow, go dirt bike, go mountain bike. Yeah. But also look after your radiator.
Man, you've always got to look after your radiator. It's very important. It's fucking sweet, guys. But yeah, we're in the new studio space. Give us some time, and hopefully in the next week or two we'll be up and firing. And man, I'm pumped for it. And now, like, I went from losing up my house, and now you've lost your house, and now you've got to move again.
Yeah, I got to move again, man. Yeah, but we found a good place. A better place. You know, how you just, my wife. She's very intelligent.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. Right all the time, which is frustrating. She's very, and I'm not saying that like in a ironic way. She is right a lot of the time because she's very smart. But sometimes she just bewilders me. Like she goes, she said, "Look, let's move to Preston," and I'm like, "Look, babe, if it's across Bell Street, I'm not going."
Nah.
You know, I'm not going. It's too far.
It's too far.
She's like, look, it's near the tram. It's fine. We drive out basically in the middle of the desert, right? It's like 20 minutes. She said it's only a 13 minutes walk from the tram, and the place was like a shithole, and we're still paying $6.50. I was like, oh, babe, if this is all we're left with, I'm moving back to Brisbane.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm moving to Brisbane.
Yep.
And then we got a call the next day. Yeah, there's a house a block away. They've accepted you. And I'm like, hell yeah. We got a garden. We got the place.
It's so funny because this, like, we're kind of like Brunswick, and then we're probably like 10 minutes back from kind of Brunswick. But if you go from Coburg, past Bell Street to Coburg North is like, can be up to 15 to 20 minutes from our house. It's so the suburbs are so massive. It's like someone said, "Oh, well, there's a house in Coburg North." I said, "Man, I'd rather move back to Perth."
Yeah,
it's the same distance. I may as well fly in; it'll be quicker.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. So,
but Nick, I haven't told you. We've got the Piece de la Resistance.
Oh,
we've got an RSL close by.
God,
that is fucking good. Have I told you about this yet?
Well, I saw photos of you at the RSL.
So it's called the Coburg RSL. So many people have hit me up about it. Go, man, I go there all the time. I'm a member, whatever. We go in there. I was like, because I love RSL as long as I don't have pogie machines. No pogie machines. Instantly sign up, become a member.
What?
Because you get $5 off a pint.
Oh my God.
But it's not VB and Carlton. They've got 8 different taps, and they're all different craft beers.
Oh, my God.
We were paying $9 pints of craft beer last night. The guy did tell me to take my hat off, and I really wanted to tell him to fucking... Then I remembered, because it's an RSL, you got to take your hat off. Yeah. And then they had like a boot scooting class there last night.
Oh, my wife loves boot scooting.
Man, boot scooting class, I was like, I'll give it a crack. You know, you got to try something new or whatever. And then they got a canteen. I was like, oh, here we go. They'll be charging fucking through the roof. It was like $4 for a burger.
This is insane.
And then the guy's like, oh, also, if we don't have the kitchen open, he's like, man, there's restaurants across the road, there's Indian or whatever. Just go get that and bring it over. We don't care.
Fuck.
I was like, man, I am living the fucking dream. I'm like, man, close to a cheap beer source. Great app. It's got a massive beer garden as well, and you're helping out the diggers. Fuck. Me getting drunk's helping someone for once.
Man, yeah. Oh, man, we could have... Well, yeah, I reckon I could have built St. Vincent de Paul out of all I've tried.
That's your private wing. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Man, I'm reading Andre Agassi's book at the moment. Like, I discovered audiobooks while I'm at work.
Yes.
And it's changed my fucking life.
Man, I download it and I listen to them as I go to work or whatever.
Yeah, it's insane. And Andre Agassi, fuck, his dad was such a psycho.
Really?
Yeah. He worked at a casino, but he's like, Andre, there's money in tennis, good money in tennis. So they moved out to the desert in like Las Vegas, the only place they could buy a place and he built a tennis court with no building knowledge. Like not one, didn't know anything about pouring concrete or anything. Built them. He's like, Agassi's like, he willed it into existence. But anyway, his dad was such a psycho that he was always prepared for battle. So he kept an axe handle in his car, and then he never left the house without pepper in his pockets, just in case he had to throw it in someone's eyes.
I love the energy of this guy.
He said when he was like 8 years old, a truck driver beeped him. He got out, beat the shit out of the truck driver, and just left him beside the road in the rain.
The pepper's actually psychotic.
It's psychotic, man.
It just kind of like, I'm ready to go. Like, not even capsicum spray. I suppose I wouldn't have had it back then, but just something that you're ready to throw into someone's face.
Dude, it's insane. So
Agassi's dad made a tennis court and is like, you're a fucking tennis player now.
Yeah, it's the opening line of the book. Agassi's like, I hate tennis.
Really?
He's just always pushed into it. It was never his choice. Never.
Right, and that's why he was a bit of the bad boy of tennis.
Yeah. He had no other way to rebel. He said they had this. His dad had a ball machine called the Dragon, and it was painted black, and it would just shoot. He would put it right at the net and just shoot it right at him, like make him stand right in the box
and hit it back.
Hit it back at like 6 years old or whatever.
It was called The Dragon.
The Dragon.
He sounds tormented.
Man, it's crazy. It's a crazy book. I fully recommend it. Mike put me onto it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I didn't know anything about tennis, and then I listened. I was like, fuck, this is wild. Like, it's not. You know when you listen to something, you're like, oh, this isn't a book about tennis.
This is a book about trauma.
Yeah, this is about trauma.
That happens to have a tennis ball in it.
And it sucks, man, because he'll win like 20 times in a row, like more than any other player has. Like, just crazy. But then we'll have one loss at the final at Wimbledon. And he's like, what was it all for?
Yeah.
Like, you just got to keep winning forever to ever feel anything.
To keep that fucking emotion going or whatever.
Yeah. So, it's insane. He, and just crazy stories like how he bought a Humvee and then he just drove out in the desert and got it bogged. And then they had to, like, it was like 5 or 6 hours or something like that till he had to fly to a match. So he went to some farmhouse, borrowed a shovel, and then fucking went to dig the Humvee out, but he hit rock and it like smashed his wrist, and then had to play the game, won the game with the fucked wrist.
See, I love shit like that because in your mind you go, tennis players, they're soft or whatever, but any elite athlete, they're all kind of the same. Yeah. They're all psychos.
He's psychos.
And it doesn't matter if it's ping pong or it's dirt bike riding or it's fucking axe throwing or whatever. They all have that same mindset where they're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. We're doing this.
Boris Becker had this impossible serve to hit back.
Really?
Like, it was impossible. And you could never tell which way. So he was just getting smashed. And then he realized when Becker would go to serve, he would poke his tongue in the direction he was going to serve, like the tip of his tongue.
See,
so if his tongue went right, he knew it was going right.
It's those things that you pick up on. It's like when they go, oh, Shane Warne, he's also a really good poker player. It's like, no. So Shane Warne's one of the best spin bowler or the best spin bowler ever. But of course he's great at poker because poker involves figuring people out. Yeah. That's what he does. Yeah. He's great at bowling, but he's also great at figuring out who you are, who your weaknesses are. Like, he can look, you know what I mean? That's what he does. That's what cricket is.
Yeah. That's what's crazy. Because
I'm like, I've just got to hit the ball back over.
Yeah.
They're operating on it like, I can hit the ball back, but they're trying to figure out you and your weaknesses, you know?
Yeah, man, exactly. Yeah, no, that's it. And I think that's one of his strengths because he was like, he didn't get a slam for so long, Agassi. He was just disappointment after disappointment, just getting there and then fucking being disappointed. And then he, and so he could read people when they were fucking flailing.
Yeah.
It's because he'd been there.
Right.
Yeah.
And how they'd react in that situation.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's incredible. It opens the book where he's 36. His body's fucked. Like, he can't move.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, you got to play, like, probably your last game, right? And he just plays this young guy. They have, like, an all-out battle for, like, hours on end. And then they go into the locker rooms. He wins. The player lies down next to him and then just yells at everybody to get out. And then watching the highlights on the TV, Agassi can't move. And he said they just held hands and looked at each other going, yeah, we made that.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's insane.
Man,
like,
that's one thing I forget how much I enjoy about tennis because it's been on the background and whatever, and it was on the RSL. It's like when you see someone coming from, like, they're down.
Yeah.
Like 2 games and they're still battling on the third. You're like, most people will be like, oh, fuck, I've lost 2 games or whatever. I may as well give up the third and just fucking go home or whatever. They're like, nah. Like, they'll just keep going for fight. Like, that's a different mindset. That's a different mindset. To get out of that, like, I'm losing, I suck, or whatever the fuck. Like, most people just be like, fuck this, I'm done. And like, nah, I've got faith in myself. If I can just keep chipping away, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's insane. It's insane. You and Nighty and Goldstein really helped me, I think, have understand competition more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't understand it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think I'm a little bit competitive.
Fuck off.
No, I'm super competitive.
And it really helped me, man, because I realized that like you got to have a little bit of fire in you, to get something done.
Yes,
you know, to make you better.
I've actually figured out a new way of turning competition against myself to make me better. Because this year I'm trying to fucking work on, because I'm like, I want to get fit, but then I don't do anything about it. Like I see the goal at the end, but I don't do anything small.
Yeah.
So I listened to this audio book. It's called Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah, I heard that's great.
Man, it's insane. It's one of the best things. It's like falling in love with it's like, oh, you want to become, all right, you want to be jacked. You're like, all right, well, what do you need to do to become jacked? It's like, oh, I've got to go to the gym. Okay, I'll go to the gym. But then you don't go to the gym. So you got to think about, you got to break everything down into a small thing. So how do I do that each day to become, you don't think about the big goal. You think about the process of becoming. So you go, all right, well, what would someone who jacked do on the daily basis? So like, right, well, you'd go to the gym. You would eat well. You'd have a protein shake. You wouldn't drink alcohol. So you break down all these smaller steps, and then that's the goal. It's not the big goal at the end. It's doing the small little daily things.
Yeah.
It's like the small 1%ers make the big percent. Because on this Atomic Habits, now we're going to talking about cycling. They're talking about the English had never won a Tour de France.
Yeah.
Ever. They were always the worst team. In fact, some bike companies would never give their bike to the English team because they were so bad. They didn't want them on Specialized or whatever because it would be embarrassing. So they got this coach in, and I don't know where he's from, fucking Scandinavia or some shit, this crazy dude. And he goes to the team. It's all about 1%ers.
Yeah.
Right. Every little micro thing. So down to what mattress are you guys sleeping on at night? Which mattress do you prefer? This one. Okay, well then you only have that mattress. And then he's like, all right, well, recovery gels. All right, so there's 100 out in the market. Let's test them all. Which one's better for us? All right, we found the correct. So it's the micro little, okay, what temperature is best for you to get the maximum amount of sleep? So he would, even to the internal color of the bus, what is that best for them to be positive or whatever? So he goes, you guys are already the fittest cunts in the world, and we've got you this training thing, but how can I physically fix every little 1%er around you to make everything as optimal as possible? And I was like, this doesn't make sense. And then they just lent into this process, and 4 years later, they were the best cycling team in the world.
Oh, man.
It was like all this thing about the 1%ers. It's like falling in love with the process, not the result. Because you can control that, but sometimes your optimum might only be 10 out of, the top 10 tennis players in the world, but you've reached your peak because you've done everything possible.
Yeah.
So now every day I've got this spreadsheet, and this is where I come back to competitiveness. It's like, all right, got to get up before 8:30. I tick a box. I stretch because my back's fucked. I've got to stretch every day to make it better. All right, I tick that. All right, I've gone to the gym. I tick that. So then each day it measures out like, all right, I've hit 60%. I'm like, and I'm competitive. So the next day I'm like, all right, well, if I do everything I did yesterday and then I don't drink booze, I get to 65%.
Yeah, great.
So I've just tried to figure out this new thing to be competitive with myself.
Yeah, that's
awesome. So I verse
awesome,
myself each week now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I want to that's really cool, man. I really because Alessio Carducci was telling me about this app that he got called Streak.
Oh yeah,
where you go on a streak, and it's exactly like that where you just you go, oh yeah, today I didn't drink booze.
Yeah,
and then you go, oh fuck. Streak 5. I'm on a 5-day streak.
Yeah,
it's like some app or something like that.
Yeah,
and I was thinking about doing that, but man, fucking spreadsheet. Yeah, because we've got to make sure that we're healthy the next month.
Yes,
when we go to Adelaide, the wheels are gonna fall off.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's like if you have all these great weeks and then you have a fuck day, then the next day to beat it's fucking easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then the other thing is like, man, you can still get fucked up, which I did on the cruise ship. So I'm not ticking the booze bus, but I'm like, the next day is fucked for you because you got to get up before 8:30 still. You still got to go to the gym. Still got to, you know what I mean? You've still got to go again. So it's like, you go, maybe I'll go to bed before 11 tonight, It makes your next day better.
Oh, man, because that's so cool.
And because you're like, I've got to get up before 8:30. That's my new rule.
Yeah, because Dilrock told me that he read it at Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
And he said that he didn't want to go to the gym, but he loves Eminem, and Eminem brought out a new album.
Yeah.
He's like, the only way I can listen to the new album is if I go to the gym and just listen to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm here. I might as well do some weights.
Yeah.
And then just,
doing like that. Well, I even did the one. I was like, I always forget to stretch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you're in the shower.
Yeah.
Right. You got to stretch. So I'm like, and I
you do enough stretching in the shower.
Oh yeah, my dick.
Yes.
But I got to do it, and then so I turn the cold water on, and it sucks. But then I've got to do my stretching cycle. So it's like you just got to figure out ways to like or capitalize on each moment or whatever the fuck it is. But I'm like, I normally turn the cold water off quickly because I hate it. Yeah. But I'm like, no, you got to get through these 5 stretches before you can turn the cold water off.
Oh, dude, that's great.
Yeah. So
far out, man. Yeah.
It sounds psychotic, but I'm like, I've been doing it. I mean, I've been rattled because I'm moving houses or whatever. Yeah. But I had this crazy week where I was like, I hit 80% of my targets.
Oh, that's so good,
and then I just lost a kilo without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because you just do it because of whatever. Anyway, we've been crapping on too long. I've got to go back. I've got to do another podcast.
Yeah.
But guys, just remember on the 17th of February, we've got a new, we've got a Wrong Way Around coming out.
So excited.
So excited.
It's going to be awesome.
We're doing episode 1, 2. We still got to figure out what we got to do something crazy like a stunt. Man, we try to hear like one of our riders maybe do a backflip or jump us or something. But if you can do anything extreme like flame throwing or something, I don't know. Let us know. We need something that's going to go off for this event.
Yes. It's going to be awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. We've done, I did the logo. Benny asked for even just when Benny asked for stuff.
Yeah.
The editor, he's like, oh man, can I get this? I'm like, fuck, we got some cool shit coming.
Yeah. And then we got one more final day where we're in the editing suite on Tuesday and we should be kind of there.
Yeah.
But episode 1 and 2 is pretty much done. And it has to be because you can buy tickets. So buy tickets, guys. If you haven't already, we will be live streaming it. We still got to figure it out how to do that.
Yes.
And then if you've bought, helped us on the Possible campaign or whatever the fuck it was, the GoFundMe, you already got an email with a free ticket link and stuff like that. So make sure you click on that. And if you haven't, I think the tickets are like $12 or $15 to get around us. There's going to be
Bring a couple
flowing.
of mates. We've all got mates that are into motorbikes.
Yeah.
Or even mates that are just into a cool trip, like a cool, a cool thing. Come along.
Even mates who just want to sink piss at Bodriggity.
Mate, just come watch it. If they don't like it, it's only 20 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Also, if they don't like it, defriend them afterwards, but get the money first.
Yeah, help us
out. Get the
fucking
money first.
Yeah, I mean, look, do you think a studio pays for itself? Oh,
yeah.
Someone just fired up a motorbike?
No, it's a wheelie bin.
It's a wheelie bin. I've had no sleep the last 3 days. I'm fucked. But guys, anyway, until next time, make sure you do all that. If you're not already on the Patreon, please get around the Patreon. Your support has just got us a fucking motorbike trailer, which is going to be amazing. We haven't bought it yet, but like shit like that, it only goes back to the podcast, and keeping this place going. So, guys, until next time, keep it flat. Stick.